We have joining us Barrister Alphonsus Eba. He is the Director General, Due Process and Price Intelligence Bureau, Cross River State. Good morning, sir. So good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Good morning, Cross Riverians.
All is not looking very bright with the PDP family in Cross River State, and a lot of issues surrounding the control of the soul of the party in the state. And we are going to be looking at the issues of the party and also the by-elections that took place a couple of months ago at the Northern Senatorial District. Barrister, let me quickly start with the issue because it started off from the ward and chapter congresses. I'd love you to first talk to us on that. Let us look at it because that is what gave birth to the crisis that we're having in the party now. Talk to us, sir.
Good morning, Cross Riverians. Let me start by saying that you're very correct in your opening statement, that all is not looking bright in Cross River State PDP family. Yes. Let me also, for the benefit of those who know who I am, state here the kind of person I am. I must admit that the processes that led to the ward and chapter congresses of 7th and 21st day of March 2020 was not very palatable. And I say this with all sense of decency, that a situation where genuine complaints from major stakeholders that they were not carried along. And don't forget, it was not an election, so to say. What we do in the PDP family is more of an affirmation, it's more of a consensus. And so you don't say you have arrived at a consensus where all the principal stakeholders have not been carried along. But be that as it may, was the ultimate result achieved in line with the guidelines of the party? The answer is yes. Because you will find out that in majority of the local government, there was proper consensus. I take, for instance, Yala local government where I come from. All major stakeholders, even our then late senator, may her soul rest in peace, Dr. Mrs. Rosuku. She was out of the country. She had not died then. We ensured that within the structure, her interest was properly carried out. And so what we expected in other LGAs was a replica of that. So that those that will emerge from the ward would have been a consensus of everybody. But we had complaints, particularly from some National Assembly members. And I consider that genuine enough for the party to look into. But because the processes have been completed, results had emerged and now transmitted to the National Working Committee of the party. At that point, pink copies, by the provision of the guidelines of the party, was to be dropped at each chapter of the local government. The blue copy was to be kept at the state office of the party. And having all that now completed the action of that process, we're only set to do the state congress on the 23rd. Screening again concluded, and then the circular came from the federal government to INEC to say suspend all activity because of the outbreak of coronavirus. So in a nutshell, that was the genesis of our problem. And like I said to you, because some stakeholders of the party were not carried along, I found that not very palatable. But did that rub on the genuineness and legality of the exercise? The answer is no, because the process went very, very well.
Okay, now let us look at, up till this point, the same issue is saddled on what the process that took place in March last year. What would you say, or which would you say is the authentic list?
No.
Let's look at that.
The issue about authentic or not authentic has been shrouded in the nomenclature that anybody decides to call what is authentic and what is not authentic.
Okay.
I just told you a process went all through. I'm sure your next question would have been, what has led to the fact that if that process was okay, what happened?
We are coming there.
Yes, I think let it flow from that angle so that you get the point I'm trying to say.
Okay. Now let me. There's another issue now. There seems to be a sharp division. We have the Abuja politicians and the home front politicians. How do we get to this point?
Anyway, nobody is more Abuja than myself.
Okay. So how do we
get for 26 years?
How do we get here?
But let me explain, and that is why I said, if you listen to what I said, I said National Assembly members in particular came with genuine complaints.
Yes, we got
but they
that.
were not carried along.
Yes.
But the action they took in addressing that was not very civil. The moment these documents got to the National Working Committee at Wadata, and it was during the period of lockdown, we saw the release of a list, so-called authentic list, which was not a product of any new Congress. And I want you to understand what I have just said. It was not a product of any new Congress. The same panel that came and submitted and gave us the pink and blue copy, which we still have up till this moment, at the point of imputing these results into the system, at the office of the National Organizing Secretary, you will come to a particular local government. In some words, names of some ward executive or chapter will be altered. That contradicts the original result we have from here. But it was changed during the period of the lockdown. So it was not possible for anybody to have gone to check the system to say, no, this is what was the product of this. And to that process, the National Working Committee released that list on the 26th day of April, representing now the report that came from the panel. But like I said, at that point, that report of the result had already been tampered with. And so the question that now became like a small disagreement is what you have called the Abuja and the front line. The few National Assembly members in Abuja, not numbering more than 7 of them who are principal actors in this, were fingered as the main people who went to show their interest in particular areas of their constituency to take ownership. Like in Obudu, where the governor comes from, they did not tamper with that. Somebody like me, they did not tamper with my own ward, but they tampered with about 6 wards in Yala local government, tampered with the chapter structure of the party. In Ogoja, the whole structure was changed. In Bekwara, 50% was changed. In Obanliko, it was not tampered with. In Abi, where the former governor comes from, it was not touched. In Bakassi, it was not touched. In Biase, where the deputy governor is from, it was not touched. In Calabar Municipal, where the state chairman, now caretaker chairman, is from, about 70% was not touched. This is the kind of thing that went through. And like I said, that alteration and doctoring in some areas where you're comfortable and leaving the areas where you are not comfortable cannot have been seen to have legitimized any authenticity, whether you want to build a Kilimanjaro mountain on it. You have tampered with the structure of a genuine, orderly, legal, concluded process. But it was at that point now that the party, when that list was released, only got to know what has happened under. And so the party now had to call on the parties. What happened? The NWC was now confronted with the raw sheets of the pink and the blue copy from the primary, from the process. They called on the panel members who came for that process. It was at that point that we also discovered that some panel members that came had also compromised. They were now divided along the line that, oh, some persons in National Assembly approached and gave them some money. Issue of bribe of 100 billion, 200 billion came, and a whole lot of funny things. And the NWC sat down, looked at that president and said, oh my God, some persons have really compromised. This is not the process. As against the decision of the NWC that all the structure of the party should be given to the respective state governors where the PDP holds sway. And so Cross River State cannot be an exception. So it was now a decision to say no. The list from His Excellency the Governor is what has been proven to be the right thing, because the pink and the blue copies which were given as extract could now be seen. But from the one that were doctored, bring your copies, nowhere to be seen. The reliance was, no, we are standing on that which the NWC has released, and so you cannot change, you cannot alter, you cannot replace, you cannot, oh no, a whole lot of music.
Okay, so but at the moment, where are we now?
The decision that the party had agreed on before some legal hiccups came, which to us, I think, also is very fundamental. And I think this remains our only way out. Was that the governor was now approached, and the governor truly said, my instruction to all the stakeholders was that go and meet and have consensus. If I now receive genuine complaints that some persons did not do this, then it is amazing. And so because it's a consensus thing, it is not an election, so to say, that anybody can come and question and say, why do you want to do this or want to do that, because it's our own internal affairs. The party set up a committee headed by the former Senate President, Senator David Mark, alongside the former governor of Bauchi State, Ibrahim Shema, and one other person, I think Senator Ekirimadu also. So say, look at this whole process and give us the best way out. Some major stakeholders in this state, including former Governor Lee Elimoke, came up, approached the governor and said, yes, Your Excellency, it's a family matter, we can take this. I think at where we are now, 20% concession of this will be fine. You know, the governor did something that I will forever respect him. Even on the advice of the NWC to say, because some of these National Assembly members, to be very candid, were looking for at least 1 or 2 inputs into the chapter structure, to also have control over their wards and other things like that, and in their local government some level of input, because once you are a stakeholder, if you are a commissioner, you make input. Yeah. If you are a special advisor, you make input. If you are a DG, if you are a board member, if you are a former local government chairman or you are a city local government chairman, all these inputs must come from you. So it's not a matter of saying that if you are a senator, you take all, or if you are a commissioner, you take all. So what the governor did, which I commended seriously, and I must again let people know that he has done well in arriving at peace, is the fact that instead of even taking the advice of the 20%, the governor increased from 30% to about 50%, particularly in every local government.
Across board?
Yes. Okay. No, in every local government where the National Assembly members are coming from. Okay. For instance, you see Senator Gershom Bassey, he's from Calabar South. Honorable Siena is from Calabar South. They made complaints. Their local government was taken care of. 30 was given, 50 was given, which means structure came at a level that will make them happy. Honorable Daniel Asoko in Akampa made complaint. That was also taken care of. Honorable Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe also made that same complaint. Senator Sandy Ono made same complaint. In Ikom Boki, Honorable Chris Agibe's own was not really reflected. It was only 2 words that was tampered with. So he did not come with any complaint. Honorable Etan Bora for Calabar municipality, Odupani made similar complaint, and all these were now taken. The NWC looked at it and said, no, this is a very perfect thing that you
so
have
hopefully
done.
there is light at the end of the tunnel.
There is actually light. There was actually light.
Okay.
So that light was dimmed.
By who?
When, yes, that's what I'm getting to. That's the point I'm getting to. At the point when the National Working Team was to receive the report of Senator David Mark. And in fact, was about to release that. Our dear brother, and you will recall that that was when we lost our sitting senator. The member sitting for Gojayala Federal Constituency on the right on Jerry Beagon became interested in the race for Senate. And the first thing he did, even before the process of election would start, was to go to Port Harcourt to file a suit at the Federal High Court in the Port Harcourt Judicial Division to say that by the joint provision of section 85, 86, 87 and all this, that, and the NWC or the PDP alter, substitute, change, do this or do that to that very list? That was a question that came, because this is the list that should be used for the Northern Senatorial District election. And so what he was there in court for was to say that the court should not allow that list to be tampered with. They must use this very list as it relates to the election, to the Senate by-election, primaries that was coming up on the 5th day of September. And you know when that judgment was released? That matter was filed on the 24th day of August. Judgment was delivered on the 4th day of September. The next day was the primaries of the PDP. The PDP was now caught in the web of the devil and the deep blue sea. If we appeal and postpone our date of primaries to vacate this order, INEC timetable has already been built and we are bound to submit the list of our candidates before the 11th day of September. So we had just a window of 1 week. So all the PDP did was obey, but filed a notice of appeal immediately. To say, while we are not agreeing to that decision that has been given by this court, until it is set aside, we will just go and use this list and conduct the primaries of PDP. And so they obeyed. On the day of judgment, Honorable Jarikbe had already been disqualified. And the basis of that disqualification was that he had been given a provisional clearance by the panel on the condition the matter you took the party to, because party affairs are not meant to be justiciated. They are not justiciable. But you took the party to court. He gave an undertaking that he was going to withdraw that suit. Okay, if you are going to withdraw, we are giving you a provisional clearance. But on the day that the appeal panel now came, the legal advisor of PDP in the state, Barrister Pius Awa, wrote a letter, a petition, so to say, to the appeals panel stating that this man that we gave a provisional clearance to, on the understanding that he was going to withdraw the suit that he filed against the party, has not done so. And so why should he come to run an election on our platform when he has taken the party to court? And so the appeals panel disqualified him immediately. But do you know that the court in Port Harcourt cleared him to come and run that election? An issue that the court has no jurisdiction to ever entertain. And I say this, and this has remained the ground of what you will see that percolated from that level
to where we
to
are
the
now.
Court of Appeal and went to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
And luckily, and interestingly so, the Supreme Court looking at the whole gamut of what has happened. Because if you see the very foundational issue that the party raised was that it is not within your jurisdiction.
They had to strike out the matter. Is that
No,
okay.
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
It is not within your jurisdiction to tell us who the candidate of our party is. But you delved into that. The Court of Appeal, he still gave judgment. He got to the Supreme Court. This matter now was confronting the Supreme Court to make a decision whether this jurisdictional issue is an issue that the court itself had breached or not. But what did I do? Honorable Jarigbe's lawyer filed a preliminary objection and left the whole of that substance to say, no, let us dwell on the fact whether this matter has not become academic exercise. In the light of the fact that somebody has even emerged from these primaries. So what are we in court talking about? And the court looked at it and said, truly, truly, somebody has won election from this primary. And you know, Senator Stephen Ode won, was given certificate of return, and is now a sitting senator. And it is judicially noticed. So what the court now did in respect of that was to say this matter has become an academic exercise because it will give you no utilitarian value. If you now say that you have appealed against this and so we should dismiss, if we dismiss that, it will affect the entire PDP because it will mean that you did not do primaries or you did primaries with a faulty this and that and this. Okay. And so that is why at the end of the day we say it was a great victory for PDP as a family. Okay,
because of time, I think I need to quickly do a wrap on this. In your talk, you are delving into the Northern Senatorial District election. Some people are confused. Some Cross-Riverians need to know exactly. At some point, we had Stephen Ode being returned and sworn in. And some weeks back, we had the court directing that INEC should issue Jarigbe with a certificate of return. No, I want you to clear that so that some Cross-Rivers that are watching us will get exactly who is the senator representing the Cross-River Northern Senatorial District. We have very some seconds.
I can't take that. We have only one senator.
Okay.
The man who won the primaries of PDP on the 5th is Senator Stephen Ode. Okay. His name was sent by the PDP to INEC. INEC published that name on the day of general election against. On the 5th of December, that was the man that won with that humongous votes. And so the law is settled and clear on that. By section 285, subsection 13, he has gone through all the stages of the election. And so he's the only one that is a candidate and the winner of that election and the sitting senator. Honorable Jarigbe can best be described as a man acting a movie. He started from a horror movie of 5th of December where bad boys were assembled in Ogoja to create problem. The security report will speak more on that. It went to the drama where he got one guy, one of his boys called John Alaga, to go and sue him that he supplied false information to INEC as a candidate of the party. The question is, were you a candidate of the party? And once you're not a candidate of party, section 31, subsection 5 and 6 is very clear.
So, Barrister Eba, I think you've made your point very clear that Dr. Senator Stephen Ode is the... And let's quickly find out in all of this, because His Excellency has always been talking about politics with ethics. Yeah. And he's a man that loves peace. And he keeps saying that PDP is a family. Do we see light in all of this crisis at the end of the tunnel? Let's talk about reconciliation, because the umbrella is still very large to contain everybody.
If you know who I am and the position I am coming to occupy in the party, if God permits, you will know that even before this whole crisis, I came up with a mantra called plug: peace, love, unity, and growth of the party. I did not know that God was setting an agenda of what I was going to do. Then this crisis you are seeing today had not snowballed to the level where it is. And that is why in my definition I still call it a storm in a teacup. What is important for everybody that loves PDP today is that we must come back and sit down. This matter has gone to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court played a clever game in not looking at the substance that would have decided one way or the other. It means we are back to the foundation of where we started from. And the governor has been open. I just told you that even when people were appealing to the governor to do 20% concession, he did between 30 to 50. And I think that to ask for more will mean that you want the governor to leave the seat in Pellegrino and be given to you. If that is what they want, they should wait till 2023, because Governor Ayade would have spent his constitutional guaranteed 8 years. So any of these persons can come and be governor. But for now, the foundation that His Excellency has put in place for peace remains the best option. And then for people like us, I have gone around every of these agreed persons 2, 3, 4, 5 times to say, you want to run election in 2023 unless you are working to give advantage to other parties. I do not see why you should be fighting this, because this is an internal affairs of our party. And there are series of Supreme Court decision. If I want to call from here till evening, I'll be calling cases for you. That the court have said that internal affairs of parties are within the jurisdiction of the parties themselves and not the court. If you see, just 2 years, last year, in this state, Sylvester Okpo took APC to court. And they said no. If you see in Akwa Ibom, Reverend Samuel Lukut against APC, that matter went to court. They said no. In the locus classicus of Onwo and Okafo, a 1983 Supreme Court decision, the matter has been put and given judicial seal that affairs of political parties are family matters, are domestic issues that are not justiciable. So anybody thinking that this matter will be resolved in court is only on a wild geese or goose chase and will get no result. You see, we are prepared. I'm not going to run an election in 2023. But by the grace of God, I remain that only person that the party cleared unopposed to come and be state chairman of your party. I have still not shown any arrogance. I have not come to say because I am almost sitting unopposed, I should oppress you. It is still the same me that has been going from house to house, kneeling down, begging them and saying, please, we want peace.
And what has the response been?
The response, I must comment some of them.
Okay.
Not to mention name, but I think 2 or 3 persons are the major problems of this. But again, with all that has happened in recent time, I must tell Crossivarians the good news. Most of the National Assembly members have now come to realize that this thing has graduated from the realm of ordinary politics, of not being along, to an incitement by some people outside the state, only to found the embers of disunity for the advantage of putting a governor in Cross River State against our zoning arrangement and against the decision of Crossivarians. So I am sure in the days ahead, you will see 1 or 2 members of the National Assembly members who have now come to see the light to pull out for that arrangement where they all came through. Because we have decided that the successor of Governor Ben Ayade will be chosen by Crossivarians and Crossivarians alone. Nobody, whether with whatever money or in any state, will sit down there and direct. And anybody in Cross River State dreaming that you will be anointed from outside to be governor of Cross River State, I am saying that if I am allowed to be the state chairman of this party, I will tell you that you are just dreaming. You are dreaming because I have enough shock observer to make sure that I lobotomize you.
Okay, Mr. Oga, talking of the shock absorber, let us quickly look at this. With all of these crises in your political party, do you think it can distract the governor from delivering on his mandates?
If you have been very observant, in the last 1 year of this whole crisis, the governor has even done more magic. The governor has remained so focused, carrying out all his developmental projects. Today, the East-West Road is going at a speed that everybody is shocked. Today, the dualization, 148 kilometers road dualization. The highest any governor has attempted from the day of independence till date on a single stretch. 148 kilometers dual carriageway with the kind of resources which we have. Number 35 out of 36 in the revenue inflow. A governor conceived of that idea, and today as I speak to you, the dualization from Obanliku has gotten to Abo Chiche Junction. The area from Ogoja through Mfom now, running through Yala, is about to start next week and will be completed by the grace of God before 2023. You see the Odupani to Calabar dualization. You see that ditch that is about 3 electric poles down, that has been filled and work is going. The final asphalt laying is taking place, and before the end of this year, you will see full-fledged dualization. Governance has been going. Today, the security architecture, people can sleep with their eyes closed, and you can see CRBC. It is within this period that I have come to see the aesthetics and the beauty that has been made, and I must commend the new management of CRBC. With all this, does Governor Ayade look like a man that is distracted? The answer is no.
Okay. And your party seems to they've been running with the caretaker committee for a while now. Does that not bother you?
Yes, we want that caretaker to run. Okay. Because we would not be doing things that will look as if it's an affront on the court. there are some judicial decisions within this period that are standing face to face with us that have to be cleared. I am the one that should be complaining because I was cleared unopposed to come and be state chairman of the party. But I'm relaxed. Let me wait until all these issues are conclusively resolved and we'll hold a state congress.
Excellent.
Yes.
Before I let you go, Dr. Barrister Alphonsus Eba, I'd love you to talk to Cross Riverians and in the light of hope, and maybe also talk to us in terms of what you do in your bureau. I think this is a bit taking you now to where you're operating from as a DG, and let us see the light of hope, because all of these political issues may not really spell good for Cross Riverians. Let's get your word, sir.
Thank you very much. The due process, as it is always called, is the main arm of the new reform that has brought good governance into bear. Public procurement has to do with the acquisition of anything, even if you want to buy this face mask. The issue is the process through which you acquire it. Because you're going to use public resources, there became the need for a proper procedure to be followed. You must ensure that the money to buy this thing has been properly appropriated. You must also know that it forms the needs assessment of the particular ministry, department, or agency. You must be sure that you have done a proper procurement planning on the models of how you're going to acquire this. I'm just using it as a case study. Perhaps you want to do construction now. The law requires you, if you look at the provision of our law, section 35, section 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, there are different methodologies of public procurement. Are you doing open competitive bidding, which is the norm? Do you have situations where you can resort to selective tendering? Can you do procurement under emergency situation? Can you do all those issues that the law has made provision for? And now it should be followed. Is the major core and responsibility of our agency.
Okay.
In a nutshell, we operate on the basis of the fact that before you do all these things, the governor of the state, who is the chief procurement officer, must give you an approval to commence that. And once the governor gives you that approval, that is the beginning of your journey. If it is to do road construction, or depending on the kind of project you want to undertake, or whatever goods you want to buy or services you want to render, the process must now come in line for us to say it is going through this method of procurement. And at the end of all your processes, under section 21, subsection 4 of our law, there is what we call the magic wand of certificate of no objection. If we do not give you that, the governor himself will not, if the money is within his limit of 1 naira to 50 million, and if it is beyond 50 million to whatever amount of money, the Executive Council of Cross River State, without that document from us, will not sign on anything and take to AG for you to get 1 naira. Okay. But the good news to Cross Riverians, you all have heard in recent time that we got a grant of 20.4 million on transparency and our fiscal discipline. While I must commend other collaborators like the Ministry of Finance, like the IROS, like the Budget Office, the Office of the Accountant General, Auditor General, Debt Management Office, the Due Process Office was at the substratum of this transparency initiative, which the World Bank has used today in rating us and has given us 20.4 million. If you are checking that under the exchange rate, you see what we have gained. So when people sit down and say, this government, we don't know how they are running it, it's not transparent, don't follow due process. The World Bank that sits in Washington has rated us to be among the best public procurement compliant states in this country, and has dashed us money by way of appreciation. I remember there was a time they dashed me a bus, they dashed me a truck for doing exceedingly well. And so that is all I am taking now to the party. So like I tell people, I am moving from due process to take due process to the PDP family. So this idea of saying at election time you want automatic ticket, the man that has not performed, I think by the grace of God, people should be aware that that will happen again, because you must go to the field and face it squarely, show the people what you have done, carry everybody along, and we'll not have all this complaint again. I can't wait to take
Talk
over.
to us about Plug as we do a wrap on this.
The vision of Plug is founded on the core objective of peace, love, unity, and growth. If there is no peace, there is nothing we can do. And so peace is going to be the foundation where the cardinal objective of what is called justice, equity, and fair play must be at the substratum. And so I feel that we came to be faced with a situation now, which I did not know when I started, that the party was going to fall in this whole idea of acrimony, violence coming in and all that. And I think that the vision of peace was anchored on the pivot that we will be approaching all our activities in a very peaceful manner. Cultists, thugs will have no place in our activities. So when we approach our primaries and congresses, we are going there to sit as a united family in a very peaceful manner to resolve our issue. Love, you know what it all symbolizes. If I love you, there is no way I will not lay my life down for you. The book of John 15, verses 10 or 13, say a man can have no greater love than to lay down his life for his friend. What we do in politics is sacrifice. If not, why should I abandon my work and take your whole ambition on my head? It is because I love you. It is because I love my party, my family. And so when we love, there will be no need to imbibe in all those issues of killing, destruction of property here and there. And so I feel that the fundamental basis is that love should reign in our activities, in party administration. Unity, just like you said, today PDP is not looking bright because we are disunited. And once you are disunited, you only give opportunity for people to come in. I am saying that because this umbrella is circled and can be carried by one person, it should be able to bring all other shades of opinion into one house. And when we have a combination of this peace, love, and unity, the party itself will grow naturally. I need to grow the party. Do you know that from the day my ambition was setting, I have nothing less than about 20-something stalwarts of APC today that are waiting. And I will show you the day I will be sworn in by the grace of God. You will see all the big names you are hearing in APC coming back to, return back to the party. Some of them were very big supporters, stakeholders in this party that left because of the absence of peace, because of the absence of love, because of the absence of unity. And that is why the party has not grown to the level we would have loved. But under our watch, we will make sure that all this is achieved. And that is why I set it as a fundamental objective. And today I've been vindicated by the situation that has confronted us.
Excellent. Barrister Alphonsus Eba, you are a political person. Some days back, we had the U.S. inaugurating their 46th president, Joe Biden. Let's look at the relationship. How would that spell for Nigerians? It can also come down to even cross-street variants. Talk to us on that.
Let me tell you about Nigeria. I was an ardent supporter of Joe Biden. First, based on his experience, 37 years as a senator, 8 years as a vice president, and then the way he lived his life. The day I read that this man lived a life of honesty, of decency, that he could not even afford the necessary resources to treat his son of cancer. The first thing that came to my mind, we have something to learn from. That probity, that honesty in governance must be something that we should imbibe as a culture in our governance in Nigeria, where corruption seems to be the order of the day. And so in falling in love with that, my last born, we went to the embassy to get visa. We were denied on no account. And my last born was so angry. He was so furious. I said, oh, this Trump, he's a wicked man. At the age of 7, my son said, he will never support the vote for this man. I was asking myself, are you from America? But something happened. We prayed. when Joe Biden came up, it would have gone through my social media feed. In fact, if I had money to send to Joe Biden, I would have sent to him. I was fully in support of Joe Biden. So when he won, it was a victory I celebrated. When he was being sworn the day before yesterday, I opened black moet in bottles to celebrate the victory. Because, to me, something fundamental has happened.
Yeah, the victory for Nigerians.
And he just did it yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
The travel ban that Donald Trump placed on us that denied me and my family of going to America has just been reversed. So, before you even talk about perseverance and Nigeria, you can see it even coming to me. Right. But the good news is that we have a man who has experience. We have a man whose mantra, just like mine, is for peace. It's for unity. It's for love. And you see the circumstances that happened 2 weeks and some days ago when the Capitol Hill was invaded on the instigation of a sitting president. I do not think any Nigerian president would have done that. Not even the ones that people thought is Tazariche man, Buhari. He will not do that kind of thing. So to me, there are a lot of things for us to learn through this victory. And what that victory symbolizes is the fact that violence, falsehood will never have a place in our body politic. Just like on the 5th day of September, Honorable Jarigbe with army of young men, so armed. I said they were shooting gun, even the convoy of the vehicle that the governor came with. And the police report is there. I'm not trying to defame anybody. I will defend and get to that report to show how you see vehicles, people's vehicles were smashed and shot. If not for that rain God brought down and the security men that came up to the rescue, I don't know what would have been on that day. That was a replica of what happened at Capitol Hill. But do you know what God did? God lobotomized the issue in Capitol Hill the same way he did to that 5th of September. And that was how Senator Ode won. And just like the chicanery of Donald Trump that ended in what I can say a disgrace, that is how this drama of Honorable Jarigbe in going to get one of his boys to sue him so that he can now deceive the court that he was the candidate. Imagine he went and perjured, deposed to an affidavit to say that he was the candidate of the party. What makes you a candidate of a party? That one is an issue for another day, but for today, all those lies that led to Justice Binta Mohammed thinking that, oh, this is the sitting senator, so somebody is coming to lie to say this against him without proof. And that was why those judgments were given. So that's why I don't want to blame the judiciary. The court will rule based on the document before it. And so the documents they brought, falsified, forged. The only area where we blame the judge there was that we don't have independent candidacy in our constitution. PDP was not joined as a party. The sitting senator, Senator Stephen Ode, was not joined. How could you have made or determined a suit that borders on the winner of a primaries when the people before you are just meddlesome interlopers and usurpers?
Barrister Alphonsus Eba, Director General Due Process and Price Intelligence Bureau, Cross River State. Thank you very much, sir. And we are waiting to get your expertise, in terms of the plug. We are waiting to see how all of this could come together in peace, because our governor has been saying that PDP is one family. And we are hoping that in all of this, at the end of the day, we'll still come back under the same umbrella and rejoice, still popping some more bottles of Moet.
We will do that. We will do that. I can't wait for that day. And I tell people, and it's my final word, so to say.
Okay.
Please, despite all that's happened, this is my message to all perseverance, particularly of the PDP family. Our rival party, APC, is coming together. They are about doing registration. They will woo our members. Please do not give the impression that we are divided. Do not give that impression to anybody that we are not united. Just understand that I am coming to unite everybody. Give me the opportunity by surrendering yourself to the jurisdiction of the party to resolve this matter. We have made our position very clear. The Senator David Mark's panel report that has now harmonized every interest should be implemented forthwith, so we can do our state congress and we'll move into the fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Barrister Eba. We hope to have you again on some other fronts to talk on politics and maybe your bureau again. Thank you. It's still there. Thank God it's Friday. Don't go away. Stay.